Well, it's another week of MLSnet.com's Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless, Shep Messing here. A lot going on in MLS that we're going to get to this week, and we're going to start, Shep, in the Eastern Conference. Columbus Crew, long cellar dwellers in this conference, and they've started to show a little bit of life, though. This is true. They're 2-0-1 in the last couple of games. Guillermo Barros Schelotto has 6 assists in his 9 games. He's playing very, very well. Where do you see Columbus going?
Well, I tell you what, Greg, I do agree with you. It's all about Schelotto, because sometimes you bring that one creative player into the team, and he sort of brings everybody together, makes his teammates better around him. He's got great vision, good skill on the ball. You can tell he's a leader, so I think he's been the catalyst, really, in getting this team turned around.
Well, the other one, I think, is also Alejandro Moreno, who's been really strong. He came in with a trade for Joseph Nguyenri with Houston. Now, the real question with a team like Columbus, who we've seen go like this, and then they go back down, and that's their history almost, is what happens now? I mean, I'm not sure that they're really going to be able to sustain this very long.
Well, I think the analogy is they're like a mosquito bite, right? It got a little bit inflamed. It got some attention. It's going to go away soon. I don't think they're strong enough in the back. I don't think they're strong enough in goal. So enjoy this success while it lasts.
Well, that's going to be the question for Columbus. Can they try and challenge in a very tough Eastern Conference? Of course, the guys up top, Kansas City, starting to struggle a little bit. Now, another team that's starting to play very well, though, is Houston. They've won 5 games in a row, scored 11 of those games. Brad Davis seems to be the catalyst for all this. They're the defending champs, and they're finally getting off the schneid and starting to play well. Where do you see them going?
Yeah, Greg, we talked about it during the beginning of the season. Really inexplicable how badly they played, and then they're going to lose De Rosario. They're going to lose Ching, Ricardo Clark. I think this team is an elite team in Major League Soccer. I think once those guys get back, they'll even be better.
But how do you fold De Rosario in? We know De Rosario has all the skill and the talent in the world. You're not a huge fan of his attitude all the time. So question is, how do you get him back into this fold when they've been doing very well without him?
Yeah, simple answer. Money. De Rosario signed the contract. I think they need to solve that problem. He's a wonderful player. I never question his ability. Question his attitude. He has a contract issue in Houston. I think if they want to win, Houston's got to get that contract done.
That the defense is playing well. Ryan Cochran, Eddie Robinson, Kelly Gray, they're all great. And the guy behind him.
Onstedt's the man.
The goalkeeper, of course. And our guy, Wheelsy, caught up with him this week.
Now, Houston is on a great run of form. You've been playing very well, but it was a slow start. Was that just maybe the fact that you won the championship last year? Is that now everybody is circling their schedule when they see Houston?
Yeah, possibly. But I think if you look in kind of the history of MLS, it seems like every team that wins a championship kind of has that hangover, especially early in the season. And we weren't playing well. We weren't scoring goals. But fortunately, the last 4 games, we've turned things around. And ironically, it comes when, we're missing 4 players for the Gold Cup. And I think that just shows the depth that we have and how eager some of these guys are to prove to Dom that they should be playing on the field.
Pat, you've won 2 MLS Cups now, in 2003 with San Jose and then last year, of course, with Houston. Is there a better way to win, though, as a goalkeeper than on penalties like you did last year?
Well, no, I mean, I'll take a 2-goal win anytime in 2003. I think it was a little nerve-wracking last year, but I didn't really think about it until after people were calling me and congratulating me and saying, gee, that must be a dream come true. And I hadn't even thought of it at the time. I was just happy that I got to contribute and to the match. But I thought the final itself, we played pretty well. I thought it was a pretty even game, and it was a good final between the 2 teams. Kind of a tactical final, but pretty exciting finish. Throughout my career, I've done all right in finals, so I wasn't that nervous. I think the biggest thing for me was keep the team in it and give us a chance. And I must admit, once Taylor scored, I thought that was it. I thought we were done. But all credit to the guys who battled back and scored a great tying goal.
So big week for the U.S. national team, a thrilling 2-1 win over Mexico in the Gold Cup final. Now they go down to Copa America, and we got an email from Jake in Chicago this week saying, basically, what's going on with that roster, Bob? Bob Bradley taking a very young team, 3 players, Marvell Wynn, Drew Moore, and Hercules Gomez from MLS, no caps themselves. This is a team that's going in there. This is baptism by fire for them.
Yeah, and Greg, I don't think there's anything Bob Bradley could do. He had no choice. He had just played a great tournament, Gold Cup. Those big players were not playing back-to-back tournaments again. So for Bradley, he's always wants to win today, but he's got to build for the future, and he's going to get a look at some of these guys at a whole new level, see if they fit in.
Well, when they play Argentina, it's going to be quite a moment when Carlos Tevez and Lionel Messi looks across, and there's Marvell Wynn or Bobby Boswell. So
yeah, Riquelme, they're going to be plotting, scheming how to get behind that back line.
Well, it's going to be fun no matter what. Now, the question also, though, is there are several MLS teams that are losing players again with this. Chivas is losing Sasha Kleshtin, Brad Guzan, and Jonathan Bornstein, while DC United loses Jaime Moreno, who's with Bolivia, Ben Olsen, and Bobby Boswell. Now, Shep, how do you resolve that? We saw during Gold Cup, some teams actually did okay without their big boys.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, Greg, because you pointed out those two teams. I think Chivas actually can adjust better than DC United because the core players that DC United are losing are right up the middle of the field. Boswell in the back, Olsen in the center, Jaime Moreno up front, and those guys, as a spine of the team, more difficult to replace.
Yeah, certainly. And for DC United, maybe struggling already, coming off a 2-1 loss to a Real Salt Lake team with their first win of the season. Now, we've got some other emails coming through, though. Marcelo Salas was seen training with Chicago. Supposedly there's an offer on the table. There's also an offer from 2 teams in Chile. Is Marcelo Salas, El Matador, is he going to Chicago?
No. I would love to think that he is. I think he's a great player. Even now, I would love to see him play. Chicago's in turmoil. Lots of talk about that team, the franchise being sold in the near future. Don't have a coach, Blanco coming. Unfortunately, what I'm hearing, Salas will not be there.
Well, I don't think you can sign a big player like him if you don't have a coach. Now talking of big players, Eddie Johnson. Last week, we named our top 5 strikers we want with 15 minutes to go. You're down a goal. We didn't put Eddie Johnson in, and we got hammered for that one. So I'm going to hammer you now. Why didn't you have Eddie Johnson on that list?
Hey, easy answer. I mean, when I look at the last 15 minutes of the game, when you need a big-time goal, I look for soccer IQ. Eddie Johnson's soccer IQ, not there yet. Also, teams, Greg, you know, they'll pack it in at the back. So he would not, in the final 15 minutes, be able to use his speed.
Well, I also think there's a question for me sometimes in terms of having the heart in the last 15 minutes, which you really need for a player like Eddie Johnson. Just a little too inconsistent. So that's our reason for not having him. But if you have some other questions, you can email us at extratime@mlsnet.com. Now, unfortunately, we're running out of time. However, Shep, you have some final thoughts for us?
I do, Greg. Great U.S. victory over Mexico in the Gold Cup. But in terms of sportsmanship, I think by the Mexican team in particular, deplorable. It goes for the U.S. team as well. The Mexican team, after the game, refused to stay on the field, acknowledge the U.S. getting their medals. They walked off. As for the U.S. team, Clint Dempsey subbed out of the game, didn't shake hands with Taylor Twellman, blew past the coach, Bob Bradley, and Landon Donovan, his celebration was all about Landon. He also carried the American flag, dragged it on the ground, put it down at one point. You can't do that. My message, when you win, do it with humility. When you lose, do it with grace. And all the time, win or lose, do it with dignity. You can do better than that, guys.
A lot, of course, when you beat Mexico 9 times out of 12 games, it says a lot. Those games are always more than just about what's on the field. Now, that's all we have this week for Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless. This is Shep Messing. We'll be back next week. Join us and we'll kick it around.